because if they can't and it comes through, then it'll take me and everybody else out too. So be the second time that my house burnt down, and all we can do is hope.
Unbelievable. That's something I'd heard from one other lady we spoke with, that, you know, her home had burned down a couple years ago before. What happened with your experience? How long ago was that?
It was 25 years ago that it was, fortunately, in the spring, so it never started any forest fires, but an electrical short in my cabin, and it burnt to the ground. By the time I got there, it was out.
So many of the people I've spoken with who live around here, like I said, just like you, they've not seen anything like this in this area, yet they are still prepared. I've heard from one man who has sprinklers across his roof. His home is soaked. What have you done to prepare for this unthinkable situation?
I live on a well. When the power goes out, the pump don't pump. I have generators that are not capable of pulling water out of my well. All you can do is cut the brush around your house, knock the trees down, try to get as a defensible spot as you can, and just hope that nothing like this ever happens. All you can do is hope. And since the insurance companies are canceling everybody's homeowner's insurance, it makes it kind of tough to when you have to go to Unfair to insure your house, but at least you have something. I know some of my friends who don't, and their house is gone up in Grizzly. There's nothing you could do but hope and leave it to the people.
Absolutely. I've seen so many of you guys come together here. I know a lot of you live on some widespread property. You're not neighbors neck and neck to each other, but there is such a strong sense of community here.
There is, and we live on 10 acres, 5 acres, 20 acres where I live. The houses are few and far between. We all drive the same road, and we all do stick together. Unfortunately, up in Grizzly Flats, where the houses are closer together, it's harder to defend. What house are you going to let burn, and what house are you going to hose down? I feel for.
It's hard. You feel for your neighbors. We feel for those folks too. We don't even know them the way you do. And seeing the images that we've seen have just been devastating and tragic. Wishing all of them the best, wishing you the best. We know that your home is still not out of the woods yet. We thank you so much for taking some time to speak with us, Joe. And our thoughts and prayers truly, truly are with you and your friends this afternoon and throughout the evening. Right now, I'm going to toss things over to Andy Judson, who's in Sly Park Road in Pollock Pines. Andy, that has been another area that just earlier this morning we've heard warnings about. There's a warning in place. It's an area that they have been watching. What are you seeing out there right now?
Hey, Zach, what a heartbreaking interview. And we're talking to evacuees out here who are sounding a lot of the same messages of concern and worry as they're evacuating their homes. I want to show you exactly what we're seeing right now. This is Sly Park Road in Pollock Pines. It's actually heading out of Sly Park towards Highway 50. This is where the traffic also comes from Sly Park Recreation Area. Besides this being a home for so many folks who live out here, it's also a really popular spot for camping and recreation, especially as this is the last day or the last couple of weeks before kids go back to school, people enjoying their summer vacations. You can see firefighters are heading in as all of these people are heading out, and it's just this type of traffic. As we were driving in, it's like this for miles and miles down this road, and as you can see, it's one lane, so it's taking these folks a while, but the patience out here is pretty amazing. As people are just telling us to be safe out the window, and it's just really concerning. We actually talked with one evacuee earlier. His name is Brett. He's lived in this area for 50 years. He said this is the first time he's ever had to evacuate. Obviously there was worry and concern. He said he's been trying to evacuate and get out since 9:30 8:30 this morning. We just spoke with him. So that was about 3 hours ago that he began evacuating. So it's a slow progress. All of these people are listening to officials and getting out. But what we're hearing from officials is if you're in this area, it's concerning. You know, there's a red flag warning. They're telling people to get out. And right now, you can't feel the wind. As we were driving up, we pulled over on the side of the road to give you guys a look at what it looks like from Highway 50. And that wind was roaring. But right now, you can just feel the heat. It is hot and dry out here. And I'm going to have my photojournalist Tyler show you, just down the road, you can see the smoke coming out of this area. We're seeing these huge plumes of smoke just a couple miles down the road. The sky is completely dark. You can actually see a red tint to the smoke as you can see the flames coming up. You can just, it's really concerning looking. And then if you just turn it, if Tyler, going to have you just look this way, it's completely clear. So you can see the area that the fire is coming, which is just really concerning. For all of these folks out here, they're sounding the same alarm of, concern. They said that right now they just have to have faith in the firefighters and our government system. It's heartbreaking listening to these folks. Some of them have said that they just left their sprinklers on because that's the only thing that they can do right now. The only effort that they can make. So we're going to continue to keep you updated. You can see that the fire is pretty quickly moving, so we're probably going to move to try to keep you updated. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you all.
Okay, thank you. Andy Judson is in the Sly Park area. People trying to get out. You don't want to be heading in that other direction unless you're firefighting apparatus, or maybe you're just ducking into your house. If you're that way, the only other way out of there is probably about 3 miles heading down the hill. Take a left on Mormon Immigrant Trail, but you may be hitting flames pretty soon if you head that way. So Andy's right. That's the only way out of there right now. So if you can avoid going there, please do so. Monica Coleman has been positioned in Pollock Pines, and Monica was seeing smoke there earlier. Obviously, that's just over Highway 50, and Monica was showing us people who were gassing up at that Shell station and also the Safeway shopping center and getting some food as well. Let's take it now to Monica Coleman, who is standing by there live as well.
Hey, well, I'm here at the Shell station, and there's kind of an eerie silence here, but people telling me that the panic is beginning to set in. You can see people are here filling up their cars and their gas tanks, trying to make sure they have all the fuel they need before they head down 50. When we were working our way up this way, you could see the traffic. It was bumper to bumper. You could barely get out of here, so people are trying to not just get gas, but across the street. You could also see people at Safeway trying to get groceries and get all of their essential needs as possible. But I did speak with one woman. Her name is Sydney. She has packed up her kids and her husband trying to get out. They're only under a warning. She said she's going to take a moment to speak with us here as well. Sydney, can we talk with you real quick about your plan? Were you expecting to be evacuating when you woke up this morning?
No, we weren't expecting it. We knew the fire was bad. We knew it was kind of close. We've been monitoring like Facebook, and then we have like a private radio club that we belong to, that kind of like a community watch. And we've all kind of stayed in contact on the radio, and we just started hearing a lot about it at 4 in the morning. So we just kept monitoring, and then got a warning from the sheriff's department, evacuation warning. So like not forced out, but we just decided to pack up and head out to be safe and get ahead of the traffic.
Did you have a go bag ready, or did you just take what you had on your back?
Oh, we have a trailer wherever my husband just went. We have that trailer over there. So we just started packing stuff into it as much as we could, just, important stuff, pictures and whatnot. And
do you plan to stay in the trailer?
Probably, yeah, down in Placerville. Or we have family in Cameron Park we can go to as well. Hopefully we'll just get a call that everything is good and we can go home.
Well, Sydney, I appreciate you speaking with us and your bravery and quick thinking to get out of here while it's a warning. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, I'll let you go and be safe.
All right.
Well, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio. People here are getting out as they can, staying safe, getting that gas and groceries.
Yep, they've got to be prepared. I'm sure you may want to suggest to her, if she's looking for a place to camp down the road, Shingle Springs, the KOA campground is probably taking in a lot of trailers. I know whenever there's a fire in that area, that's where people tend to go. Monica Coleman in Pollock Pines, which is in direct, hopefully they'll be spared, but they're getting ready. John Bartell has been in Grizzly Flats. He got in there about an hour and change ago. John, you were at an elementary school, which we believe was a Tyler Elementary School, if we're not mistaken. What else have you found? Is there any good news in Grizzly Flats right now?
So, hey, Walt, the signal is very, very spotty out here, so we had to come back up here to the elementary school, but we did take another quick lap around here in this area, and I really could only count 5 homes just in the short drive that we are. Just take a look out here behind us. We're back up at the elementary school here, and you can see this is where what appears to be a helipad, and then we've got the playground here. Down the hill is what I think is the fire department, the volunteer fire department, but it's very hard to tell because everything around here is just burned. So if we walk a little bit closer here, you can really just see down the hill over here, there is just home after home after home that has been burned. But there is 3 that we are seeing that are standing. We're going to take a closer look. I'm going to put some pictures up on my Facebook page just so, if this is your home, you can know what is still going. Now, I just want to let you understand what it's like to drive on this road here. We came down on Grizzly Flat Road here, and the roads are just littered with down power lines. We've got down trees, and I don't know if you saw at my last live shot, several of these trees are burning out from the inside, and that's what's causing them to fall out. We'll kind of make our way over here, but I'm going to let Rory just kind of pan around as you're taking a look here. This town, there is not a single person in sight unless they are an emergency crew, and for good reason here. Everything is blackened. There is burn scars just everywhere. And once again, I do believe this is, we can see the sign, the elementary sign is here. I don't exactly know what this building is, if it's one of the classrooms, but it certainly was something of importance here. Now down this hill, Rory, over here, there's another series of homes. I don't want to go too far. We're going to lose signal. This is our sweet spot here. But if you can imagine, from a radius from here to here, all the way basically towards this area, there's homes down there. And many of them are still smoldering. They're of course collapsed in on each other. But just complete devastation out here. Walt, I told you before here, this really reminds me of what happened up in Paradise and Santa Rosa for that fact.
Yeah, how sad. It just keeps happening. John Bartel at the elementary school there in Grizzly Flats. Not much going on there in terms of good news. John, thank you. Brittany Begley has been monitoring all things social for us. Brittany, still remaining very active.
It is very active. So let's start off with this traffic alert from Andy Judson. You just heard from her a couple of minutes ago, but Sly Park Road, you can see traffic backed up for miles as more people try to evacuate. Of course, one thing we're also watching beyond my 4 walls saying, hey, it is really windy. And as you know, wind plays a huge role in our fires. You can see Sam caught this. Take a look at your screen. You can see this is from his backyard of just the smoke billowing out. This is at Grizzly Flat Roads. This is the area of concern, which we've been showing you all morning long. And I'll end you with Brian Douglas. Take a look at your screen. He says, beautiful blue Lake Tahoe is not so blue today. Several major wildfires. We had the Dixie Fire, we had the Caldor Fire, and just the conditions in that area, very smoky and hazy. And that's what a lot of people are saying on Twitter as well, is that they're waking up to a lot of ash. So a lot going on in your breaking news center, your social media center. We'll stay connected throughout the day.
How's it looking?
Hey, Brittany and Walt, thank you. I just want to point out how quickly this happened. Through the overnight hours, we knew there was a lot of fire activity just to the south of Grizzly Flats. What you're looking at here is satellite-derived hotspots. It doesn't tell you exactly the source of the fire. It could be an intentional burnout operation. It could be from a prescribed burn. But what we know about this zone is that this was active wildfire overnight. We were expecting it to push off to the north, but the next image that came in, these come in about every 6 hours, just went right over Grizzly Flats, and we knew that we had a situation. Now, it doesn't tell you exactly every little situation that happens. As John Bartel just said, some homes are standing, many are lost, but it's about what's going to happen next. And with the direction of the fire growth today, with a lot of south winds, Sly Park is in line, Pollock Pines is in line for areas of concern in Jenkinson Lake. And then when you look at, not just satellite-derived hotspots, that's just one way of looking at it. Then when you look at the cameras in real time, we know that this is a very active fire. The terrain has not burned in a very long time. In fact, there's no history of it burning. That's not saying it hasn't a long time ago, but since we've been keeping modern records, this is all virgin terrain. There's a lot of vegetation. We know how dry it's been. We know the weather today is hot, windy, and dry. And just during this fire, the area expanded to include this area in a red flag warning, which is when it's very dry and very windy, and fire responds very quickly, as you can see, to those weather conditions. So just taking a look again one more time of all the hot spots right through the community of Grizzly Flats. John Bartel's on the ground telling us that a lot of this, what we know, community, homes, businesses, and also big important buildings like the volunteer fire department may have burned. And then you take one more look at this. Unfortunately, the terrain that it's burning in is the highest risk category out there. Maps made by the California Public Utilities Commission. These were just updated in March, and this is where the fire is actively burning off to the north. One piece of good news. I do expect a little bit more west wind to sneak in here within the next 4 to 5 hours, which would push it a little bit more away from Sly Park and Pollock Pines in the direction of where Kybers is. There's a lot of terrain in between, but we have to watch it hour by hour because that's the general forecast. We all know that fire creates its own weather, and anybody near this fire needs to be concerned and have a plan to get out. Walt?
Okay, Rob, thank you for that. And the forecast and all that, we'll continue to follow it throughout the course of the day right here. Stay tuned for more updates on abc10.com.